Hello YouTube, what is up? It's Dan's Garage. We're back with one more car project that I plan on accomplishing today. So if your car or truck or vehicle has dull paint, and I'll try to get this video into this video like my 4Runner did. My 4Runner was it's old, it's a 2007, its paint was not taken care of. It probably was never waxed, and its paint was oxidized. I'm gonna have a really good before and after of what I did to fix that. So I will get that video into this video. I'll get it edited in, but essentially I did the whole process on this 4Runner, and now the paint is back to its former glory, and it's nice and smooth. I waxed it. I still have to put a coat of, or I still have to clay bar it. I usually do that to my vehicles once a year in the fall to protect them. And then put a good coat of wax over them. But because I failed to video that, because I was just trying to get it done, because doing a whole car this way takes a lot of time, and I was sweating bullets like crazy. If you can't tell, I'm a little sick right now, a little stuffed up, but I wanted to get this video out. I'm gonna be using a combination of things. So we're actually, instead of working, all my videos so far have been on my 4Runner, we're gonna be working on my Accord. This is a 2015 Honda Accord V6 6-speed manual. It has full bolt-ons with a custom tune. It is locked right now. It's going to show the inside a little bit. It does, I've never had it dynoed, but my brother has built a very similar engine with similar modifications. It's the J Series V6 that Honda loves. It makes roughly 300 wheel horsepower, roughly 280 some odd ish torque, and I love it. It's an amazing car. It's fun to drive. Having a little bit of issue up here with the double screen there. Sometimes they shut off, sometimes they don't, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So it's interesting, but we're gonna get back to the video. So we're gonna be working on this today. And before, a few months ago, I used to store, I've owned two 4Runners now. An 03, and that's an 07 right there. The 03 spare tire, I had to cut off because it wasn't coming off. And I put the spare tire up here, where it lived. You can see the marks of where the tire lived up there. It lived happily up there for better part of 2.5 years. I went on vacation, I came back. When I pulled in, I saw the tire that was living up there happily for 2.5 years, living happily on the hood of my car. Shattered my windshield. If I can link a picture or get a picture of that, I will. But left marks, as you can see, in my paint. Now my paint does look very good because I take care of it. I don't drive this car every single day, but you can see the marks from the tire that it left. My goal is to get these marks out. I'm not going to be getting those out. Those are a little too deep. But the little swirls from where the tire landed, there's a few right there, as you can see. That's gonna be my goal, to get those out. So, the process, and excuse me, if I can find it, I will link it. The process I learned from Chris Fix, an awesome auto YouTuber, awesome guy, who I've learned a lot of stuff from. He and Eric the Car Guy and South Main Auto are the three guys that I would follow. So basically, he used Meguiar's products. They're not a sponsor. I'm using a combination of Meguiar's and Turtle. Both are obviously not a sponsor. And the reason why I'm using a combination is because I wanted to use Meguiar's, because I personally prefer Meguiar's, but they didn't have the compound that I needed. So you're going to be using a rubbing compound, and you're going to be using, after that, a polish. Basically, what you're going to be doing is roughing up the clear coat a little bit with the compound. You're going to be smoothing those roughs out with the polish, and then you're going to go over it with a wax to protect it. My goal is to get rid of these little marks in there that you can barely see on camera, much more noticeable in person. So that's my goal. So what I do, you can do this all by hand. In Chris Fix's, in his video, he does it all by hand. I'm going to be taking a little pad that attaches to my drill. It's a 3M headlight restorer kit. also not a sponsor. I'm gonna take in the compound, putting the compound on here, light pressure, going all around the area. All right, light pressure. You don't wanna push too hard, especially with Honda's clear coat. The past 10 years or so has been super thin, super soft, and super weak. So I had to get my roof repainted in within 3 months of owning this car brand new in 2015 because the clear coat started to peel. It is awful clear coat. I will never own a black car ever again in my entire life, but this is the only V6 manual that they had in Ohio, where I live, without going out of state, significantly further away. I had to settle for black. So when black is done right and it looks, and you know, it's all waxed and everything looks perfect on it, nothing else looks better than it. But it shows the tiniest little imperfection. Case in point, you can look at my 4Runner and it looks darn near perfect. But if you were in person, you could see a lot more imperfections. But because it's white and because like a gray color or a silver color would hide that perfectly, but because black paint shows any and every imperfection, I'm never owning a black car again. So I am going to be documenting this process, and I'm going to try to give you the same look each and every time. So this is before I've done anything. I'm going to do the compound, we'll come back. I'm going to do the polish, we'll come back. Then I'm going to do the wax, and we'll come back. So I'm going to do the compound now. All right, this is after the first polish. What I forgot to mention is that it may be necessary to go over it a few times with polish. And it also may be necessary, if you're gonna go over it a few times with polish, to do the whole area, meaning the whole hood, instead of just a small little part of the hood, because you might be able to tell a difference. I don't think that's gonna be my case because my paint is well taken care of, but we'll see. So after you apply it, you're going to take a clean microfiber. I suggest getting several of these. Just buy a whole pack at Walmart or something. Getting several of these, and with the compound still wet, don't let it dry. You're just gonna wipe off any extra. So that's what it looks like. I'll be honest, it doesn't really look like it did a ton, but I'm also gonna go over it at least one more time. Maybe apply a little bit harder pressure. I'm scared to apply harder pressure, the same pressure that I applied on that thing, because of the black paint and the clear coat and Honda being awful with their paint for the past decade. So I'm gonna do another pass and we'll come back and see how it looks. All right, so this is after a second time with a little bit harder pressure. What you'll start to see is a slight haze around the area that I worked. You can see a very clear line that I worked. Right there. Because you can look at the reflection of the light as it goes over an area that I worked. Now, that is because the rubbing compound is doing what the rubbing compound is supposed to do, which is rough up the very top of the surface. Now I'm going to go over the area that I did a little bit further out with polish, Meguiar's polish. And in doing so, going to smooth those somewhat rough looking areas out. And we'll come back for that. And we're back. This is after the first polish. A lot shinier. You can still see a little bit. I should have started this with a caveat. Is this process going to make your paint perfect? No, it's not. But it's certainly going to help. When I link and look at all the images together, where the tire laid, the scratches and the scuffs that it caused are much less noticeable now. Are scratches and scuffs still going to be there? Yes, absolutely. But this is a really good solution to it if you have a little bit of time and a little bit of elbow grease. Other things to mention: grab a new microfiber when you go for the polish. You don't want to be getting the compound that you just wiped off onto the surface that you just polished. I have a little holder like this that goes onto my microfiber pad, and I just do circular motions. I'm gonna do one more polishing round. I'll actually film this one, just in case anybody wants to see. Nice, tight, fine circles are what you should be going in. That's the same thing for the drill. Go in circles. Don't just be going up and down or left and right. You want to be going in circles. As I'm sure you can hear, my hood got pretty well dented too. It's hard to see the dent, but it definitely affected it because right there, that never used to be there. So go around in circles. If you're doing this outside, if you're doing this in the summer, you're gonna sweat. I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're going to sweat. So keep going around in circles, just like so. And then you're gonna finish it off with a wax. I'll be back after I wipe this off. And here's the finished product after the second polish. A pretty good improvement, not perfect, but I went into it knowing that it wasn't going to be perfect, but pretty good. This is without a wax. Now is the time to apply a wax. Now, I'm not going to sit here and give recommendations for wax. I can, if you would like. I can do that in the comment section, what I use, but we could be going on this comment about waxes for all the time. Pick a good name brand, reputable wax that you feel confident and comfortable using, that you think produces good results. It's kind of like engine oil. People will argue back and forth all the time, what's the best engine oil? What's the best filter? Are there certain filters and oils that are better than others? Yes. What's more important? Using the absolute best oil that you possibly can, or changing your oil at a regular interval. For me, it's changing your oil. Now, that doesn't mean I just use whatever's on sale. I have a particular oil that I like to use with a particular filter brand, but that's me. We can talk about it in the comments if you would like. What I use for my wax, there's certain people that like Wolfgang products, certain people that like Chemical Guys products. If I can open the bag that I keep it in, give me a second, it's still on my phone. I like to use Colonite 845. It is a awesome wax, very hydrophobic, repels water very well, goes on very easily. Don't need any special tools. Comes with an applicator pad, and I put it on, and the car shines for several weeks, even if it rains. So I'm gonna do my whole hood. I'm gonna wipe off the rest of the water spots on this hood. I'm gonna do my whole hood. We'll come back to that area. And here is the final result. Obviously, in the reflection of that light, you can still see some imperfections. When you get right up on it, it just looks like a mirror. Part of that's because of the process, part of that's because of the wax, but you really have to look and see. I'm sure it'll be different in the sunlight, but you really have to look and see. Is it perfect? No, but it's a heck of a lot better than it was. So I'm sweating bullets, so I'm gonna go inside. If you like this process, if you like this procedure, if you like any other tutorials and how things are done, please drop a comment. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate it. It goes a very long way. It takes very little effort and it goes a very long way. I appreciate it, guys. If you have any other comments or questions, please post them below. And I'll see you guys. Have a good one.